Dylan Cease fires a one-hitter in a 13-0 White Sox win over the Twins in a very, very bad Saturday night game. We're going to break it all down on today's Locked On Twins postcast.
You are Locked On Twins postcast, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, your team every day.
And welcome to another edition of our Locked On Twins postcast. Today is Saturday, September 3rd. I'm the host of Locked On Twins, Nash Walker, here with writer and reporter at Access Twins, my partner, Brandon Warren. Before we get started, are you one of those people who thinks it's okay to drive stoned? What's the worst that can happen? You end up driving below the speed limit? It's no big deal, right? Brandon, wrong. The truth is your reaction times slow way down when you're high. You not only put yourself in danger, but everyone around you. Talk about a buzzkill. Stop kidding yourself. It's not okay to drive high. If you've been using marijuana in any form, do not get behind the wheel. If you feel different, you drive different. What happened? Did I lose you?
You locked up for a second.
Okay. All right. I think we're back.
Great.
All right. Twins lose 13-0 to the White Sox. Dylan Cease fires a one-hitter. What's your reaction to this one in game 2 of this 3-game set?
Oh, man. How do I even come up with one thing to say? Just inexcusable from top to bottom. Letting Tyler Mahle make this start. There's got to be some kind of checks and balances where you know he's not right. And to leave the game with the same injury, that's part of it. It's a national telecast. And you go out and do this. And again, the 4 spot in the first, it's understandable because Mahle gave up a homer. Big deal. But as the night went on, it got less and less and less compelling of a case for this to not be the most embarrassing Twins game in a long time. And the fact that Austin Davis did not pitch the 8th inning is unacceptable. Unacceptable. If the White Sox wanted to be hot about it, and maybe they are, I don't know, they deserve to be. This was a mockery of the game of baseball, and it was absolutely ridiculous that the Twins made a pitching change with 2 outs in the inning. I would not want to be in that clubhouse right now because it's bad, man. It's horrible.
Extreme managing from Rocco Baldelli tonight. They go down. He pulled Correa and Kepler immediately. I want to say that was the 4th or 5th inning. He pulled them out of this game so fast. And then, as you said, went to Nick Gordon in the 8th there. Do you think that was a deliberate attempt, Brandon, to try to cool down Dylan Cease?
I don't know what it is. Again, it's a national audience, and that's not a compelling case to play national games. This is supposed to be one of the most compelling games the rest of the way. And I'm not really big on the whole idea that the manager has to manage based on a lot of external factors. But I believe when Saturday Night Live first went on the air, they were called the not ready for primetime players. The Twins have stolen that title with this game. I'm not out on the Twins. They're only going to be a game out if Seattle can close out Cleveland. But the fast charging White Sox are right there. It's a 3-horse race and your horse is limping. How are you possibly going to win? They need to figure it out, and they need to figure it out fast.
Hard to have a worse 2 days. I mean, Sonny Gray leaves yesterday with hamstring tightness. Tyler Mahle leaves again today. I'm thinking that that's it for Tyler Mahle. I mean, there's only 30-something games left. I don't know. I'm not the team doctor. But to bring him back like this, Brandon, after an IL stint, and then immediately in the 2nd inning, his velocity is down again, I just don't know how you can feel confident in him moving forward at all.
Well, you got to admit, if you were the team doctor, it'd be pretty cool that you're doing this show after the game. But you would have bigger fish to fry. Yeah, and I don't know. If the thought process was, let's see if we can get him back before the end of the season and fast track it, that's a horrible process. And based on everything I know from my time covering the game, that's not what happened. But I can see why fans would see it that way because a lot of them don't know the inner workings of an organization. But again, there's still a dereliction of duty here somewhere that someone allowed this to happen, and it goes from the top down. I don't know how you stop and pick one person and not the other, but that's why they go out and get guys who are more than rentals, especially pitchers, because you know that when they're firing bullets like they are, there's never a guarantee they're going to stay healthy. Look at Frankie Montas. He stayed healthy and he's been horrible. It's just the way it is. So I'm almost at a loss for words as to why Tyler Mahle pitched tonight. It wasn't a must-win game by any means, especially because Dylan Cease was pitching. But why not start Aaron Sanchez? Give yourself some time for Tyler Mahle to get right, because you're in the last month. And like I said last night, when a pitcher goes down with any sort of injury that is, in any sort of timetable, it's almost always a month based on ramp up and everything else. So I have way more questions than answers. We could be here all night.
BetOnline.net is your number one source for all your pro and college football betting needs and sports info this football season. Find all of the latest football league developments, game matchup, news, and podcasts, including this year's opening week's games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends in action. BetOnline is where the game starts. 13-0 is your final tonight. Now, it's one loss. That's one loss in the loss category, but that's 2 in a row for the Twins. Now 3 in a row for the Twins and 2 in a row in Chicago. They'll come back and try to not get swept on Sunday with Dylan Bundy going against Lucas Giolito, Brandon.
Well, I'm not great with the Pythagorean theorem and Pythagorean wins and losses, but I wouldn't be surprised if this counted as 2 losses in the grand calculus of things. But that is the beauty of it. You get up the next day, you play another ball game, and you're facing it's going to be the grand Labor Day mid-off between Dylan for the Twin side, Dylan Bundy, and Lucas Giolito. And it is the most emblematic starting matchup you could have in this AL Central battle right now. It's a battle to the middle, and it's exactly what we're going to see tomorrow. The Twins need to absolutely go out and salvage a game here. And the other thing I'm worried about too is, the Yankees are coming up on the schedule here too, and they're struggling. Not only could they awaken the White Sox, they awaken the Yankees too. So not only do you possibly miss the season, but you wake up the 2 teams dislike the most going down the home stretch. I mean, it could be cataclysmically bad unless they turn things around and fast.
Yeah, I mean, this is honestly worst case scenario these last 2 days. Like it's been the worst case scenario. But we always do this because we do this every night, most nights. And we always say, if they would have won last night, this game would not have hurt as bad. And maybe this game would have hurt. I mean, it still would have hurt. But if they would have found a way last night, Brandon, they were leading in the 8th with 1 out. Like, you got a split so far. And you go for the series win on Sunday. And it's like, all right, we can forget about it. But you lost the first 2. Now, as you said, they have to salvage a game, it feels like.
And maybe it's like if you break your arm and then you break your leg, your arm doesn't hurt as much because you're only thinking about your leg. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much
today. He's on fire, folks.
Yeah. Well, and again, we keep going back to the idea though that Cleveland is down 4-0 last I checked late in the game, and so the Twins are only going to be a game out unless Cleveland has some of their devil magic left. And Emilio Pagan doesn't pitch for the Mariners last I checked. So, yeah, it's only a game out, and as bad as things are and as bad as things seem, it's still baseball. There's still a lot of baseball left, and anything can happen. But we're hanging our heads tonight, and justifiably so.
It's so unsatisfying to still be in it in some ways. You know what I mean? Like your mind tells you they should not be anywhere near this race. White Sox fans will tell you the same thing. Their mind tells them, based on logic and the playoff field, we've only had 5 playoff teams for how long now? Now that's expanded, to 7, but it feels, or to 6. It feels like they should be nowhere near this race. And it's not because of the extra playoff spot. It's because the Central is just so down this year. But yeah, that's frustrating. And it felt like this game was over when I turned on the TV. Did it feel that way for you?
It was over when you texted me about tonight's show. I was walking outside in the, Reese makes a good point too that I want to get to in the chat, by the way.
Yeah.
I was out walking in my alley and you texted me and you said, "Hey, you ready for the show tonight?" with like a goofy looking emoji. And I thought, because I hadn't turned it on yet.
They're not winning. I'll tell you that. They're not winning.
I was like, that's not great. But yeah, no, this one was over before it started. And it didn't help that chief knife twister AJ Pierzynski was in the booth with Corey Provis,
Oh.
and they talked to the most apathetic Twin of all time, Lance Lynn. So this was a tough one for Twins fans.
Just like
for sure.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
What comment did you want to see from Reese here?
The Polanco one, that also
Yep.
really has kind of rustled my jimmies, so to speak. 6 days into a 10-day IL stint, and you're just sitting and waiting. Now, again, I know Jorge Polanco is so valuable that you will take 4 days of him rather than 4 days off, or now technically 7 because you can only backdate an IL stint 3 days. But, you know, their hand being forced at this point, it just the only saving grace is that it's this late in the season and they're chasing a couple of teams. I mean, technically they're not chasing the White Sox, but they really are. You want to make sure you have Polanco available for as many games as possible. You've got an expanded roster, and you've got a couple guys who can possibly hang it short behind Correa in Gordon, and even Gio Urshela has played over there a little bit, just not with the Twins. So I get really stretching it with Nick Gordon, Jorge Polanco, but I don't think you can go beyond 5 days before you're like, listen, this has to be an IL thing. Just let everything clear up and then go back to war in 8 days of a 10-day stint, or 7 days with 3 days backdating and all that. That to me didn't make any sense. So I think Reese makes a really good point there.
They'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if that's a good thing, but they'll be back tomorrow. It's an afternoon game. Dylan. Are we back? Sorry for the connection issues, folks, tonight. We've seen Lucas Giolito whoop up on the Twins before, Brandon, so it still doesn't feel like one of those matchups where, you know, it's not. I'm sure the White Sox feel pretty good about facing Dylan Bundy.
Yeah, I think the hamster running the wheel powering your internet's struggling tonight, because for the first time ever, it's not me. So maybe give him some Monster or some Red Bull, which is nice. So no, there's very strong potential for this to be a 8-7, 12-10 kind of game tomorrow. So I'll be talking to you at about 2:15. It's going to be a 2-1 game in a quick, or not 2:15. It's probably so like 2 hours and 15 minutes, and it'll be over on getaway day. We'll see. But yeah, there's really no reason either team is going to fear either starter. Giolito has more in terms of raw stuff, has more in terms of a reason to believe. But yeah, it's time for the Twins to break out the sticks and really look like they're going to fight down the stretch instead of go down without a whimper.
Thanks, everybody, for commenting and watching. Brandon, thank you. We'll be back for the finale, I believe. Sunday, we'll be back.